Hi, it's Chimabi again, here to present my final strategic snapshot for the course. The agenda of this presentation is a summary of sort of what I learned in the class, the team evaluation as regards the final project we submitted, my contribution to the final report, and the lessons learned I learned from doing the final report. Now, summary of what I learned in class can be shown in the diagram. I learned what strategic position is, the need for making strategic choices, the need for understanding and being strategic in action. So I learned what strategy is, which is taking a step to achieve a long-term goal and understanding the different thought process that allow me to achieve this goal as a person and for an organization. I also learned that culture is strategy for breakfast. So it's important to adapt every strategy I bring up in line with a particular culture. It could be the culture of the organization, the culture of the people, or the culture of that I believe would be best for the implementation of the strategy. I also learned the importance of strategic positioning. It is important to position ourselves or position an organization in a pattern that allows allows brand be more visible. A more visible brand will mean an increased opportunity, which in turn for profit organization will lead to profit generation, and for non-profit will lead to them having a greater impact on society. I also learned that once you understand the strategic choices, the position is important to make choices. So every choice we make must be thought of, must be well thought of, and must be strategic in choice. Once we make strategic choices, we need to take action. Action on choices we make, which is basically put into action, put into implementation what we have designed. Now, for the team evaluation, I will say the team was a beautiful team. I have a score index that I designed, one being the least, five being the highest. Very poor is indicated by one, very good is indicated by five. For my team members, starting from Prince to Malene to Gumbo to Anna to Monica to Malene, they all scored high on my own scoreboard, but the highest will go to Jolene and Anna. But I would say the team was quite, it was a very efficient. We all submitted our assignments on time. There was never a delay. There was some form of communication which was prompt, but the team was like a collection of engineers who lacked soft skills, just a question of goal-oriented people that, the team lacked a little bit of interpersonal relationship, in my opinion. But besides that, the team will make an excellent team in terms of delivering every strategic choices or designing strategic goals and implementing them. I think the team was fantastic, but would need to develop on their skills. Everybody, like I've displayed there, scored high on the scoreboard. Even myself, even though I'm not there. Uh, According to the final report, I did the executive summary, the introduction, and the monitoring and review section. For the excuse me, for the executive summary and introduction, the key ingredients I looked at was strategic integration, that's synthesizing key findings such as market research, risk analysis, strategic objective, marketing plan to capture a full scope of what Harriet's BC market entry would require. Also, it also entailed having an insight-driven framing. That is highlighting BC's unique customer profile, what the customer needs in terms of moving towards more nutritious milk, which of course goat milk is, and also to identify the industry gap because currently in BC there is no goat milk ice cream producers. Thirdly, it was evidence based in the sense that I incorporated data from Grandview Research, IBS, statistics to support my marketing potential, which helped me draft the summary and the executive and the executive summary and introduction. And also, I had to look at what my colleagues had done to be able to, draft a introduction that suited the report. Thirdly, it had to be audience focused. So I had to speak the language of the client, speak the language of, it has to be clear, concise, and impact oriented to reflect both opportunities and execution readiness. Finally, I had to bring it to a perspective of looking forward perspective. That is positioning the initiative not only to as a product launch, but also as a strategic foothold for Hewitt to be able to achieve a long-term goal of being the lead, which they have the opportunity to be the lead as there's no key players in the goat milk ice cream sector in BC. So this will give the potential to be the lead in that playing field. As regards the monitoring and review, I broke into two. I did the monitor section first before I did the review section first. And the key ingredients I put into this while doing the research or writing up was, first of all, I structured from strategic objective, from anchored KPIs, review timelines directed to SMART goals to ensure alignment with performance targets and market entry phases. The second thing I did was to benchmark against industry standard. That is, get what the industry standard is to benchmark against what we're proposing to the client. I use best practices from key authors like Kotler and Kalapa 2002 and case studies in new products launching. Thirdly, I was able to focus on localized for BC market demand. That is, draft a monitoring and review scheme that suited the BC market, BC customers, BC needs, and BC unique needs, which is like a multicultural, diverse society. Take, for example, more people in BC are younger and they tend to want to have better options. So I was able to, in the monitoring and review, take, for example, one of this is to review the response of the client towards the goat milk ice cream, or create a KPI dashboard that made us understand what is going on in the market. Fourthly, risk response design. I was able to design a response strategy, integrate high priority risks such as cold chain failure, customer rejection in real time using the dashboard like I earlier mentioned, and we suggested a quarterly review for proactive management. Now, for the key takeaway I learned from doing this report was, firstly, first movers advantage. Entering on tap market like goat milk ice cream for BC will give them the first movers advantage. So they need to take hold of it, grab it, and run. Secondly, consumers' education is critical. Enlighten the customers of what are the benefits of taking goat milk ice cream over the regular ice cream, because even though cow milk ice cream and goat milk ice cream are not in competition, but there's a tendency for people not to know what the benefit is or the existence of such in the market. So it's important to enlighten the customer. Thirdly, data-driven strategy drives precision, SMART objective, KPI framework, ensure that goals are measurable, actionable, and aligned with business outcomes. So what I did was I drafted a review mechanism, monitoring mechanism, and make sure that whatever the client or whatever I was proposing to the client was measurable, was actionable, and was aligned with Hewitt's business outcome. Another key takeaway is risk management must be proactive, or risks must be proactively managed. That is, we suggested that to Hewitt is to understand what the cold chain, market perception, future competitor present, risks, and devise or develop technological, operational, and promotional strategy that will mitigate against such risks. Another key takeaway I learned is localize ad strategies values. That is, focus the ad of the company to the BC needs and not just the general needs. Because I understand that they might have broken into the Ontario market, but breaking into the BC market, they need to tailor every strategic move, every promotional move they make to suit the BC market. Finally, continuous monitoring enables agility. So it's important for them to monitor the market, have a multi-layer review system, which we suggested, with live dashboard and local reviews, support fast, informed decision, making a dynamic market, which is very key. As long as they are monitoring what's going on, what the clients want, the clients review through review feedback scheme, they are able to develop and get better and remain the lead. Thank you for the opportunity to present what I learned in the class, what I also learned from participating with a wonderful team. Team 1 was a wonderful team, and also what I learned from doing the report, the introduction, the executive summary, and the review mechanisms and monitoring mechanisms that I had proposed in the report alongside with my team. Thank you very much.